They are too.
Little church, that's what it's all about, really. Yeah.
We had two people named Charlie.
Two people named Charlie, okay.
3 kids and 2 of them were named Charlie.
That probably caused quite a bit of commotion.
Oh no, we were good. They were both old enough, it didn't matter. No, I'm Charlie. They were fine. Can we put you as Charlie B? We have a Charlie W and Charlie H.
Okay.
Just choose your own last name.
I want to be right dead center.
Why not? Right in the middle.
Even the pastors don't have to be dead center. They get to be off on the side.
Okay.
All right. So
If Kitty comes, I'll watch.
because I never look at that screen.
Okay.
So we don't have handouts because we didn't print them, but they're on your devices if you want to look at that. I emailed them a second time. We do have the discussion questions, so if you need a reminder, we'll pass those around. Turns out my yeah, I guess I need one of those ones. I did not send out the right questions the first time because I can't copy paste, right?
Yeah.
And so now these are the right questions from this week.
That makes me feel so.
Don't worry, because we're winging it anyway, so it wouldn't have been any help to you to have a handout. So while people are still coming in, if people are still coming in, we're gonna do introductions. And we'll go clockwise this time, because last time we went counterclockwise. So here's what we're gonna say. You're gonna say what your name is, and what is something that you received from your family, think like ancestors handing it down to you, not something you received as a gift from like descendants, that you value. And this can be something material, like a material item. It could be an emotional or physical trait, a habit, a hobby, something you received from your predecessors that is important to you.
Oh, am I first?
Yep.
Oh, shoot. And I wasn't listening. Something handed down.
Yep.
Okay. I'm Michelle Cooper, and I have the bed that my grandfather was born on. So it's over 100 and something years old. And for my first wedding, yeah, you heard that right. My mom had it refinished, so but it's still in my house today.
I'm Joan, and since you listed hobby in the questions, I inherited my grandmother's love of needlework.
My name is Michael, and I inherited a couple things from my grandfather. His intellectual curiosity and his stubbornness or persistence. Ask my grandma which one.
I'm Julie Pratt, and since I was born and my parents are from Budapest, from Hungary, I inherited an appreciation for a worldview, something broader than just United States.
That's awesome.
Carla, and my great grandmother, Granny Bev, 2 things from her. One, I have her big giant 4-poster double bed that is still my bed that I love. And all the furniture that goes with it. And it's ancient and falling apart. And then I also got her love of horses. She used to ride horses out in West Texas and shoot rattlesnakes from the back. Oh my God. I never shot a rattlesnake from the back of the horse, but it's in your research. I have it in. Where was she? Where was she? In West Texas. They were Floydada Lockney.
Floydada Lockney. I played with basketball.
All our families from Floydada and the pumpkin capital of the world, and I got.
Pumpkin farmers.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm Sarah Hampson. And I guess I have 2 sides of the family, and actually my husband's family, but I also inherited through my husband's family a bed that had come on a Conestoga wagon.
Oh, wow.
Somewhere out east. My possession from the Boyden side, which was my maiden name, I have the family Bible.
Oh.
It's in pretty bad condition. It is a treasure, and so those are 2 of my sessions, and I guess that baby is I have feeling.
I'm Rita Lloyd, and my stepdad was master of all trades, and he restored player pianos and clocks and coffee grinders and anything anybody could bring to him fix. And I have a grandfather's clock that he restored, and I also have his pocket watch.
Nice.
I'm Joe Schultz, and my mother, I got level 3. And my father, I finally got the tools he would let me touch.
Hi, Gloria.
I'm Linda. I've got a lot of artifacts, but I think optimism and a sense of humor.
Nice.
Kathy Roberts, I had my parents spoke dinner.
Oh, wow.
A big deal in our.
Oh, yeah.
What was it? I couldn't quite hear.
Sorry?
What was it?
Spoke dinner. The whole session.
So eating was a big deal in her house.
Place setting for 8, cool. I got that. I've all kinds of stuff. Who are you name? Your name help us somehow.
No, not sure. Do I have a turn here?
Yeah.
My name is David Cook. My dad offered me something and I didn't have the good sense to accept it. My older brother did take it and he gave me a copy, which was great. I have a very large handwritten genealogy written by my great grandmother. And it goes back to the Mayflower and beyond. It's very interesting, very large. And she had notes of how some of the family traveled from east to west.
So we had family to the name.
Oh, he
did
that's your grandfather.
Well,
He's the
my,
one that.
yes, thank you. I know what he did. Yes, my family on the Mayflower was named Howland, and it was John and Elizabeth Howland. And actually, as they were coming across the ocean, John unfortunately fell overboard.
Oh, gosh, wow.
Usually in those ships at that time, if somebody fell overboard,
See,
they're gone because you can't stop, right? You can't turn around. So he was lucky to grab a rope. And they were able to pull him in. And then when they did arrive in the US, they did have children. And it's been said that if he had not grabbed that rope and survived, there'd be probably about 2 million people today that wouldn't exist. And I was probably one.
And one of those relatives is the Bushes.
Well, okay.
Wrong in every family.
Did you narrow your options down?
Yeah, I got art and music from my mother.
Wait, your name was?
Is.
I know she.
Some of her art is right behind us here as well.
And the
Pencils.
pencils are mine.
I'm Carolyn Goebel, I'm originally from Western New York. And I'm not sure what all I'm supposed to be saying, just a background.
Anything that you inherited from ancestors that is important to you, material or emotional, physical?
Western Massachusetts. No. Outside of Western New York. Anyway, I grew up in that area and ended coming home from former husband to law school. Bottom line, I grew up in a very, northeastern, I remember being here the first year thinking, okay, when will it get cold enough to snow? We get that once in a while, but yes, but I was very active in choir and in Sunday school and taught Sunday school.
Jennifer, future and things that are important to me. I have a rocking chair for my grandparents that I put all my stuff in, hold on, because I don't want to sit in it, break. I have recipes that mean a lot to me, and then I have Bibles from my dad and grandmother that are special.
I'm Gloria Diaz Coleman, and what did I inherit from my mother? She was a trailblazer, and I suppose that I am too. I've lived everywhere here in the US, born in San Salvador. Got 3 masters in 1 PhD.
Wow. Wow.
For fun.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Less stress. And my name is Marcelo, and the thing that I inherited from my ancestors is my ethnicity and my indigenous heritage to America from before the Mayflower. And I'm very proud of that. But my grandmother, and you can't escape us.
And my name's Natalie Day. What's the question?
The question is, what are you proud of that you've inherited from your ancestors? Be a physical trait, emotional, spiritual, material item.
The first thing that comes to mind is my love of music.
Perfect.
Mhm.
All right. So, with all that in mind, does anyone want to offer to open us in prayer?
Yes.
Perfect. Thanks, Michael.
Dear Lord, please find us in a common goal to know you better, to see you in our world today better. And please illuminate the scriptures we're going to uncover and rediscover and interrogate. Please illuminate these scriptures to us so that new meaning can arise from them and from your word and from the author of Acts all the way to our current day. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Cool. So, you don't have handouts. I thought Josh was going to print them. That's on me. I should have communicated that even better. So, we're going to play a fun game called We Just Read the Bible.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the questions of the last. Before we do all that, does anyone want to offer up anything that they found illuminating or that stuck with them from the readings from this week? They want to bring up.
Mary,
Yeah.
you know about Theophilus, how the writers of Theophilus. So I think it's also referring to the reader, to us. We are lovers of God, so we're reading the Bible. It's
It could be, yeah.
addressing us.
It absolutely could be.
Yeah.
Theophilus was an uncommon name, so it's also possible it was written to a singular person. But many people have thought that
Yeah,
Theophilus, because it's so on the nose for who you would be writing this to in that translation, that maybe it was written to a broader audience. Maybe not necessarily to us, but to the other Christians in the area, and then obviously with us taking that heritage. You see a theme here?
Yeah.
Taking that heritage,
right.
then it's passing on to us. Anyone else want to offer up? All right. And hearing none, we are going to do an exercise, I guess you can say. We're going to call it Intro to Reading Types. So we are going to go around and we're going to read Acts 6, 8 through 15. I know I said that we're going to focus on 7 through 8, but I decided last night that I didn't like that and I wanted to do 6 instead. So you all get to put up with me. So we're going to do Acts 8 through 15, and then we're going to skip forward a little ways after that, but we'll just stick with Acts 6, 8 through 15. So we'll start with Michelle has it, right?
I have it.
All right, Michelle will do 15, Joan will do 16. We'll just go around the table until we reach the end.
Wait, start again.
Wait, you said
Acts 6, 8 through 15.
Okay, so I start with 8, right?
You start with the first 8. So Acts chapter 6, verse 8.
Okay.
And we go to 15.
Stephen, full of grace and power, did great wonders and signs among the people.
Then some of those who belonged to the synagogue of the freedmen, as it was called, and of the Cyrenians, and of the Alexandrians, and of those from Cilicia and Asia, arose and disputed with Stephen.
I'm going to pause here real quick because I just had a thought. I'm going to read these questions to you so you can keep them in your mind real quick while we're reading through this. Fair?
Yeah.
Cool. So we're going to see, what do we see mimicked here? I'm leaving that very broad. What do we see mimicked in these verses? And why might the author of Luke Acts have chosen to mimic these things? All right.
None of them could stand against the wisdom and the spirit with which Stephen spoke.
Then they suborned men which said, we have heard him speak blasphemous words against Moses and against us.
So they stirred up the people and the elders and the teachers of the law. They seized Stephen and brought him before the Sanhedrin.
They set up false witnesses, he said. This man never stopped saying things against the holy place of the law.
For we have heard him say that this Jesus of Nazareth will destroy this place and change the customs Moses handed down to us.
And all who sat in the council looked intently at him and saw his face was like the face of an angel.
Then the high priest asked him, are these things so?
We're gonna freeze there.
Was that, no?
So now we're gonna skip forward a slight ways. So we all read this. We know what comes next is Stephen's long speech, right? We will come back to that. But for now, we're gonna skip to chapter 7, verse 54. And we're gonna read to chapter 8 too. So we're on chapter 7, verse 54, and then we're going to read straight until we get to chapter 8, verse 2. And I have an extra Bible if somebody wants to use.
There's some of those.
There's also some in there. Give me some.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, it's huge. Sorry.
Right.
Okay.
Now, when they heard these things, they were enraged and they ground their teeth at him.
But Stephen, full of the Holy Spirit, looked up to heaven and saw the glory of God and Jesus standing at the right hand of God.
Look, there, I see heaven open and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God.
But yelling and hissing, the mob drowned him out. Now in full stampede, they dragged him out of the town and pelted him with rocks.
What number?
Probably, I don't know, because mine's different than yours.
No.
Was the verse out?
59.
While they were stoning Stephen, he prayed, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit.
Then he knelt down and cried out in a loud voice, Lord, do not hold this sin against them. When he had said this, he died.
And,
He fell asleep.
Oh.
Fell asleep.
and Saul approved of their killing him. That day, a severe persecution began against the church in Jerusalem, and all except the apostles were scattered throughout the countryside of Judea and Samaria.
Devout men buried Stephen and made great lamentation over him. Somewhere in there, we missed the part about in verse 58 in chapter 7, my Bible also says, and the witnesses laid down their garments at the feet of a young man named Saul.
Yes.
Which is important.
Your version skips that, or?
No, I just was gonna have her read that and she read the next one.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It seems like the verses just overlap in a way.
Yeah.
and we just-
We did. It's all right. It's all right.
So barely.
But I just finished reading
So that
verse
was
2 on chapter 8. Devout men buried Stephen and made great lamentation over him.
so that was the end of the reading that we're gonna do. So the question was, what do we see mimicked here?
There are many
Christ.
things mimicked. There were
Yeah.
false witnesses against the in the Sanhedrin.
Right.
What is it mimicking?
Is it the Sanhedrin themselves going to the Romans?
Okay.
Yeah. Saying,
Michael has his hand up.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I'm being a good student.
Well, the thing is, Michael is the most recent student in this room.
Yeah.
It's good that he's still not out of practice, so continue on.
No, I'm noticing some parallels to the crucifixion story.
Yes.
Father, they know not what they do.
Mhm.
He is interceding on behalf of the people who are killing him as they kill him. And then there's a scattering of apostles after he dies. So that's just something I noticed.
Yeah.
So he's, oh, sorry, go ahead.
There's a bit of the transfiguration in there with the light, the glowing face.
Oh, yeah.
You know, other things we see.
There's the arbitrary trumped up charges about him. Yeah. The priestess charges.
Charge of blasphemy, taken to front Sanhedrin. His death immediately following his cry out to receive my spirit. His burial, we know just from Arimathea in Luke buries Jesus. We see that devout followers bury him. So why might the author of Acts have wanted Stephen's death the first martyrdom to parallel Jesus' death so closely. Because it's not an accident, right? He obviously chose to put this in there.
Impact. That's the big thing. To get the word out.
Word about what?
If it had just been passed over, and that had been the end of Stephen, and nothing had said after that, then Christianity might not have continued.
Okay. I have a couple of thoughts. I think for the same reason that the authors of the Gospels call back to Old Testament writings, the author of Luke Acts is citing some of these things to emphasize the significance of this moment. Also, in and of itself, Acts of the Apostles as a sequel to the Jesus story. The beginning should remind you of certain things that happened in the first installment. And since we're picking up after Jesus died, I mean, I don't know the historicity of the Stephen martyrdom, but I do know just as a text, you want to open it with an inciting incident. And since the inciting incident of Christianity has already happened, let's write this in a way that mimics that and kind of in and of itself, as a piece, it has this significant moment that it would lack if we had just picked up right after Jesus died without anything similar.
It's like having part 2 in a movie, but you have to go back to pick up pieces in part 1, so they'll understand where we're going on down through part 2. So it makes sense.
Except in a previous episode, we saw.
Previous line on Luke
Right,
Acts.
we saw, yeah, they saw.
Right.
But some didn't get to see that experience or understand that experience at the time, so it's repeated to fulfill.
Diane's trying to get in, I think.
Everybody's trying.
Oh,
Looks like she has just kind of locked in here.
Didn't he also, but
Yeah,
like
he's here, yeah.
didn't Stephen testify? I mean, he testified to all these things that happened, that all the priests don't want people to like, so again, he said everything that came to fruition, like happened to that, you know what I mean? I reminded them what truly is important instead of that. You know what I mean? So once again, they're being told, not the way you do it. In a way,
yeah,
and he's being punished for that, just like Jesus, just not the
You're
way
right.
to do it.
Oh, yeah, Stephen's speech, I might be working ahead, but
We're gonna get to there.
okay, all right. But it is, yeah, serving the purpose.
So one of the things that is also in this passage is it talks about how Saul was there and that he was persecuting the church. And so it's almost so that the writing has to be kind of a rallying cry to the people who are being persecuted, to remind them of why the crucifixion was so important in the resurrection.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you're risking, because you're being affiliated with us is, you will be persecuted.
yeah.
Al, did you have something?
Yeah, it's just kind of what Dave said, it's teeing up what's coming next, which is the story of Saul. And kind of putting Saul in the place of Pilate.
Yeah.
Who was cheering for, let's.
That everybody is redeemable.
Right.
Yeah.
I think in terms of screenwriting all the time, because I'm a product of film school, and if you're opening a horror movie, you open with a kill because it establishes the stakes and it shows you who the monster is. So anytime they come on screen, oh no, something bad's gonna happen. This is setting up a subversion of that where the monster winds up becoming like Mother Teresa.
Music of Darth Vader.
So I'll say, in terms of narrative screenwriting, this is not the inciting incident of Acts, though. This is 25% of the way through the book. The inciting incident of Acts is the Holy Spirit coming on the apostles and then spreading from there. So that's just in terms of narrative, I have to disagree with
Okay.
that as the inciting incident, but I do agree with most everything else. I didn't really have a true answer for this. I was curious what y'all would come up with, so.
There may not be an answer.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I think in terms of structure and narrative, he is trying to remind us that what comes in Acts is a continuation, right? Again, it's not the first thing that comes, it's a continuation of Jesus' ministry. Jesus had a ministry, and then he had the passion narrative, right? Well, we've had ministry so far, and now he's duplicating that in Passion of Stephen, right? And he's saying that it's not just all you go out and teach the way that I taught. You might sometimes have to lay down your life, and this is a example that the author of Acts is saying. This is how you should go about it. You should not go down swinging a sword, but you should go down with rhetorical flourish and with forgiveness on your lips.
Yeah.
So, to that end, I'm going to read this because I was not sure I could actually say it without stumbling and making it less clear because it's a somewhat difficult concept, but we're going to talk about typology in Acts 7. So typology is a biblical interpretive device that sees events of the past as a prefiguring that is like an early indication or foreshadowing of later events. And that's not to say that the previous events or stories only exist to foreshadow the later events. They are complete in themselves, but they exist so that we understand them better in the future. I know that's not a great way of saying it. It's hard to say it without actually looking at it. So we're also going to do that. Let me find my page because it's everywhere. It was in the notes, which you don't have. So I'll find it there. All right. So when we're talking about typology, we are going to look at typology. Typology. So it's a prefiguring of current events or greater, what we consider greater events in the terms of the author. The author, whoever's using it, would think of the current event that he's talking about as being the greater event, and then the past event as being complete and fine in its own right, but that it has added significance because it is the precursor to this greater event that comes.
So it's not a finale.
It's what way?
The first event.
It's not final.
Right.
So it is final in its own. It's
foreshadowing.
It's self-encapsulated. So I'm going to give you an example. For example, the serpent in the desert. Y'all know that story? No, the one in Exodus or the one in the Torah, way back. So John mentions it just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up, right? That is a form of typology.
Okay.
He's saying this event, right, we have is, and this is a better way of explaining it, but this event we have with the bronze serpent was self-encapsulated. It made sense on its own, right? We don't need Jesus to understand what was going on there.
Okay.
He lifted up the serpent, people were healed. Do we know that story?
I know.
Don't know?
It's a rusty story.
Huh?
It's a rusty story.
It is a rusty story. Okay.
Yeah.
We trust you though. Go ahead.
Cool. Believe me, I don't remember where it is in Exodus. I cannot go look it up. If somebody wants to volunteer to look it up, God bless you. People are sick, disease, but they make a bronze serpent. Moses lifts it, the people are healed.
Yeah.
So then we go to John, and John says, just as the serpent was lifted up in the desert, talking about this bronze serpent, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. So that bronze serpent is a typological reading of Jesus coming to heal people. And it's, does that kind of make sense for what typology, how it functions a little bit?
Yes, much better. It's
Okay.
better.
I know that's why I wanted to read it, because the way I'm going to explain it is going to be hard without actually having a practical way of doing that. So let's see how bad I am at actually explaining this concept, because we're going to go and look for typology in Acts 7.
Okay.
So first, somebody summarize what was Acts 7. What was this? It's the speech of Stephen.
All the history of what.
All of the stories?
Well, sorry, not all, but it was
It was the highlight.
highlights.
Was it the highlights?
It was some of the highlights.
Synopsis.
Well, let's
You guys gotta have some conviction. I'm just asking questions.
And it's how they got there, right? It's Abraham, it's, and all the, and Joseph
Yeah.
and, and all the suffering and of his people and the 400 years and, you know what I mean?
It's like summarizing the Torah, the former prophets, and then tying them to Jesus.
But he was also trying to say, y'all have been opposed to this in the past.
Always, the whole time.
Right? There's the typology, like, here's the example of how you were opposed before and now you're opposed now.
Right.
You've always been
always shut
fighting
us
them.
down.
Yeah, you always shut us down, exactly.
Yeah.
Now you
had
have to
Abraham.
over and over again. It's not just once.
Yeah, over and over and over.
So if we look at, let's say, Joseph. Joseph's section is really short, so let's start with that. It is in
Verse 9.
verse 9. Wow, you're on ball.
Well, I'm already right there in Acts.
You want to read it?
Sure, how much of it do you want me to read?
Just until Joseph's story ends.
Okay. And the patriarchs, jealous of Joseph, sold him into Egypt, but God was with him and rescued him out of all his afflictions and gave him favor and wisdom before Pharaoh, king of Egypt, who made him governor over Egypt and over all his household. Now there came a famine throughout all Egypt and Canaan, and great affliction, and our fathers could find no food. But when Jacob heard that there was grain in Egypt, he sent forth the fathers for the first time, and at the second visit, Joseph made himself known to his brothers, and Joseph's family became known to Pharaoh. And Joseph sent and called to him Jacob, his father, and all his kindred, 75 souls. And Jacob went down into Egypt. He died, himself and our fathers, and they were carried back to Shechem and laid in the tomb that Abraham had bought for a sum of silver from the sons of Hamor at Shechem. Oh, I'd never seen the sum of silver before. But as the time of the promise drew near, which God had granted to Abraham, the people grew and multiplied in Egypt till there arose.
Joseph. No, verse 9. We started verse 9. Chapter 7, verse 9.
Started verse 9.
Okay. So let's go answer one of the questions that I think was in there. I don't know because I can't copy and paste correctly. But what were the accusations against Stephen? Do we remember?
Blasphemy, the Lord down, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Blasphemy against, so not taking the Lord's name in vain, but blasphemy against God. There's two
Well,
technically different things.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Been a lie, so I didn't really know, sorry.
Spoke blasphemous words against Moses and God.
Cursing Moses and God.
Was there another one in there?
So Jesus will destroy this place and will change the customs that Moses delivered to us.
So this place was the
Synagogue. Sanhedrin.
I was thinking the synagogue or
Or Israel.
The holy place.
the temple, yeah.
Yeah.
So synagogue would have been like a community center. They would have read things there, and that's where rabbis and would have taught people, and you could have discussions like we're having now, right? But there was also, it was a civic center, so they were also doing other things there. It was just a community gathering place. The temple was where you went to do sacrifices and things like that. The synagogue was a place for people to gather. This temple was a place where they believed God's presence on earth actually was, right? And you had certain rules around the temple where you can only go so far if you're a Gentile, you can only go so far if you're a woman, you can only go so far if you're or you can only go so far if you're a man, you can only go so far if you're not a priest, etc., etc. So they had concentric circles to it, right? So he is specifically saying that they're blaspheming Moses or Stephen is blaspheming Moses and the temple. Why is he talking about Joseph?
We didn't talk about Joseph here. Oh, down there, okay, sorry.
Yeah, when we just
No, I got it, Joseph.
why are you talking about Joseph?
Where were you reading?
Chapter 7, verses 9 through 16.
I thought you were in 8.
I'm so sorry. That's right.
You're saying, why is Stephen talking about Joseph?
Yep. His charges are blasphemy against Moses and the temple. But why is he talking about Joseph? He also talks about Abraham. I'm just specifically asking Joseph.
Well, my smart notes.
Thank you.
Among all the stories of the patriarchs, Stephen's focus on Joseph highlights a divided Israel, with God taking special care of Joseph. But God was with him.
Oh, that, well, that kind of.
It's only my smart Bible.
No,
Yeah, but it sounds like Smart Michael had an illuminating moment. So.
Well, and no, your smart Bible is very smart. I admire its intelligence.
Wish was mine.
Because Joseph's brothers were all the like figureheads of the different tribes of Israel, the 12 tribes relating to the 12 brothers. So that could be an illusion, right? Yeah.
Well, because the brothers, I mean, they trumped up charges against Joseph. I mean,
Yeah, they
Joseph
did.
going, getting sent to be
Saved
saved.
in the first place.
Exactly.
They thought it was a slave.
Exactly.
Not to say
lied about
anything,
Joseph.
but they're still fighting today.
Yeah,
We are.
yes.
Except the ones that were lost, but that's a whole different thing.
Joseph definitely saved his people.
Joseph saved his people.
But it's the typography of just, trumping up charges against people.
Yes.
Or, giving false witnesses to people and shipping them off or killing them or.
And God swoops in and
So,
saves them anyway.
question. I know that the book of John was written during a major schism with Second Temple Judaism between Judaism and the church. Was there a big schism going on during the writing of Luke Acts?
So this probably would have been that time if it was written then. John was written way later. It was
Okay.
like 40-ish years after the Second Temple was destroyed.
Okay.
So it was like much later after that.
My brain is scrambled, but that could be a differentiating language where the allusion to the 12 brothers selling out Joseph. It could be, I mean, some of this stuff is very precarious because it's Christians writing texts that make them not like part of mainline Judaism, right? It's like, or is this still the era where they're still, I don't know, I'm piecing something together in my head that may or may not be.
I'm trying to understand. I'm not quite following
I
that.
don't know. I'll get back to you.
So at the time of his writing, I believe it was pretty well established that they were two different things at this point.
Okay.
Because we see the term Christians come up, and Christians would not have been used of every Jew, right? It was like its own thing.
Okay.
So they are, at the time of writing, definitely moving towards a more divided religion, right?
Okay.
The actual time frame that we're looking at, they are still very much the same religion.
Okay.
That's where your brain is headed.
Yeah.
So it could be he's speaking to his own time through this thing that happened in the past.
That's what I'm kind of getting at in a scrambled word salad.
Gotcha.
Could we, so each instance that we've mentioned so far, the crucifixion of Jesus, the blasphemy or Stephen's stoning and Joseph, it all begins when individuals feel their power is threatened or their worldview is threatened or there's something in something in this threat.
Jealousy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So
So
it's kind of speaking to the human condition.
Jealousy. Yeah, definitely.
yes, we see in here more typology, right? We have an innocent person with trumped up charges who undergoes some horrible thing, an evil, we'll just call it what it is, undergoes an evil, but God uses that evil for his own plan, his good, and we end up having a messianic savior type figure arise out of that, right? We see that. Where else? Oh, okay, I'm gonna assume that. Oh yeah, we understand, ma'am.
And my Smart Bible note says the Joseph history contrasts how the patriarchs were blessed by the brother whom they rejected.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Israel's rejection of God's chosen leaders is a theme that runs throughout Stephen's speech.
Correct. So now we move to Moses. Moses is a much longer passage, so I don't necessarily want to read all of it. If we need to refresh, we can.
Where's that?
It is directly after Joseph.
Where is that?
Chapter 7, verse 17.
Chapter and verse.
Wait, you want a real Bible? Would that help?
I
It's
have
hard on
one,
your
I need
phone?
to know where we are.
No, I didn't know if it's.
Yeah, 7.
Chapter 7, verse 17.
17, thank you, ma'am.
But at the time he was
Got it.
fulfillment of the
Thank you.
promise that God had made to Abraham. Our people in Egypt increased and multiplied until another king who had not known Joseph ruled over Egypt. He dealt craftily with our race and forced our ancestors to abandon their infants so that they would die. At this time Moses was born, and he was beautiful before God. For 3 months he was brought up by his father at his father's house, and then he was abandoned. Pharaoh's daughter adopted him and brought him up as her own son. So Moses was instructed in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was powerful in his words and deeds. When he was 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his relatives, the Israelites. When he saw one of them being wronged, he defended an opposed man and avenged him by striking down the Egyptian. He supposed that his kinsmen would understand that God through him was rescuing them, but they did not understand. The next day he came to some of them that were quarreling and tried to reconcile, saying, "Men, you are brothers, why do you wrong each other?" But the men who had wronged his neighbor pushed Moses aside, saying, who made you the ruler and judge over all? Do you want to kill me as you killed the Egyptian yesterday? When he heard this, Moses fled and became an alien in the land of Midian. There he became the father of 2 sons.
So we'll pause there.
That's a good time.
All right, so we see typology here as well.
Yeah, because Moses was, I have come to support my brethren, which is what Jesus came to do, and yet they rejected him.
Right. Pretty straightforward, right? He lays this one out for us pretty easily, right? So we have another, we won't read all this because we're gonna run out of time. We have another story. Do we know what it is? It's like the famous one with the burning bush. Okay. So somebody summarize that story for us then instead of reading it.
Moses, after leaving the land of Egypt, fleeing for his life, see the burning bush, wanting to go back to Egypt and save the people of Israel who were enslaved by Pharaoh. So he goes back, and then there's some stuff about some plagues, and there's some stuff about some parting waters.
Which mostly left out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a great movie about it, Prince of Egypt.
It's an amazing movie.
One of the
So
best
good.
movies ever made.
Steven Schwartz.
Yeah.
Music from Wicked, music from Prince of Egypt. The guy can do no wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the movie?
Prince of
Prince of
Egypt.
Egypt. It's an animated movie from DreamWorks.
Yeah. But
We'll have a viewing. I'll sing it. All right. So we have we didn't go quite up to the rest of it, but they escape Egypt, right? They go to Sinai. What happens at Sinai?
The
golden calf. Oh, golden calf, sorry.
The 10 Commandments.
I have to think about that. I'm drawing blank. Was it actually Sinai that the golden calf was at, or was that at a different mountain?
some movies kind of combine the.
I just totally blanked on this. Whatever. They're on a mountain, right? Golden calves.
But
In Acts 7, it talks about the golden calf.
Yes, we get to the calf eventually. So we have the burning bush. God's call it to him. He goes, he leads them out, and then they reject Moses as their leader, saying, "We don't want you anymore. We want this golden calf to be our new God," and rejects again. So there's 2 different rejections of Israel or not Israel at the time, the Hebrews of Moses. I believe there are actually 2 rejections of Joseph as well. First by his brothers when they throw him in the pit, sell him into slavery. And then they don't recognize him when he's in Egypt. They don't recognize him as their brother, which can you guess see that as a rejection? The author of Acts certainly does. So he's reading 2 rejections per person. Do you think that's significant for here? for what's happening in Acts. We see two instances in both Joseph and Moses. So two in Joseph and then two in the story of Moses of people rejecting people who would the messianic savior figure. So do we see two rejections as being significant in the book of Acts as what for what's going on here?
I mean, there's potentially I see what he's doing. He's leading up to Jesus. It's like the extension of this. So I mean, if you were to write it, you could probably say Jesus getting driven out of his hometown and Jesus's crucifixion is two pretty good rejection examples. Or are you also, is there an implication that also Stephen himself is an extension of this too?
He was rejected twice because they brought him up on charges, and then he gives the whole sermon, which is chapter 7. And towards the end of chapter 7, which we've already read from verse 54, now when they heard these things, they were enraged and ground their teeth against him.
Yeah.
That's when they took him out and stoned him.
Yeah.
So first they turned him in, and then they took him out and stoned him themselves.
Pretty big rejection, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we could read it as Stephen's actual defense of him defending himself from them.
Yeah.
Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Kind of like they're rejecting Stephen's message twice, I guess, or his plea of his own essence. Okay. Anything else?
Well, I mean, they're rejecting the larger message. Yeah, Stephen is great.
Which is
that Jesus is the Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
They don't want to go there. So
Right.
why two rejections though? I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. But specifically, take it one step further. Why are two rejections important?
to parallel like the two rejections of Jesus.
What were the two rejections of Jesus?
When he was alive, and he was rejected a lot, really.
We're generalizing quite heavily. He is generalizing.
He was rejected while he was alive. He was also rejected as the savior when he was resurrected.
Correct. So that's where we're headed.
That's what he's looking
Is
for.
it all? Is it?
We found it.
Which one are you on?
All of you. It's a group effort. That's why we do this thing. So yeah, that's
the Hebrew numerology and the symbolism of numbers in Hebrews has anything to do with the decision to orchestrate the history book.
that is outside of my
Possible.
expertise.
Because-
That's a whole field that I do not partake in.
Okay.
So it's possible, but
That
I would not
gets
know.
very deep in that the way they construct their language is numeric symboling. And this very well may be part of that is beyond us. I don't have that, but that you're onto something.
That's
a question.
But I'm also
Hierarchy.
wondering though, if this was written in Greek, would that have?
Yeah, this is written in Greek. This is written in Greek.
Right.
I have a Jewish Bible, we should probably get.
Fun fact, we know this was written in Greek, that he's using the Septuagint. Do you know what the Septuagint is?
No. What's the Septuagint?
So the Septuagint was the Greek version of what we call the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible. It was translated, I believe, 4th to 3rd century. Over a long period of time. It was done in spurts. You can see like different writing styles in it. So we know it wasn't all one person sat down and translated the whole thing, but they translated over time. It's all Greek. So we actually know that he was using the Greek version of this Bible because whenever we see that Jacob leaves for Egypt with his family, one of them says 75 and the other one says 70. I don't remember which one off the top of my head. I believe the Hebrew says 70, the Greek says 75, and Acts says 75. So he's not reading from the Hebrew, he's reading from the Greek. There's other instances as well where there's like the Moloch and the star reference, which is verse 43. Those were mistranslated in Greek. So then he adopts those mistranslations here, and then we get them in English because we can't go back retroactively and go like, no, this is what that verse actually says, because that's not what the author of Acts wrote. What he wrote was what's in Greek. So it's different than what you would see in the Old Testament that we have, which was translated from the Hebrew Bible, the Hebrew language Bible. So the Torah is what we use. It's all so much fun. And there's so much more to the Bible than just translating one text, because you have to decide what you're translating from where you're translating it. It's a whole mess.
This is a lot more complicated than the children's Bible I read as a kid.
Yeah, I've been presented with a new one with you with information.
I was HarperCollins Study Bible. I love
There
it.
you go, there you go.
Yeah, that's the one.
All right, we are running out of time, so I'm gonna say we call it here. Do we have any questions or thoughts that we want to share? Ma'am, sorry.
Question, I tried to write down what I thought you said topology was, and I wrote down the current event is greater than the past. Is that correct? Is that what you said?
Not quite. I'll read it again so that we can get this clear. Hopefully this is more clear, and I can send this to your email too, so that you don't have to just copy it, or so you don't have to write it down all the Typology is a biblical interpretation device that sees events of the past as prefiguring, that is, as an early indication or foreshadowing of later events. That is not to say that the previous events or stories are incomplete, insufficient, or lacking on their own. However, they are understood at a later point as being an example of something greater or perceived to be greater than what had come before them.
Okay, this is easier. A method of interpretation where Old Testament persons, events, or institutions foreshadow greater realities, and yeah, that's.
Sure.
We found it.
Probably Google.
Just Google.
But then Google searches this. You
Well, we went Google. Just Google it.
can Google it.
Yeah, I'm a Googler.
Yes, Linda.
From why this has bothered me the whole, but is it significant that when he retells the story of Moses, he uses that Moses was abandoned and not executed, but doesn't, he wasn't really abandoned, he was, it was a degree of execution for all, but I don't know.
He was, yeah.
Abandon seems to pretty much soften the whole idea. Maybe there's nothing to it at all, but it kind of bothers me.
It may be your translation, because you're looking at verse 21.
20 and 21, she read it to you, what is yours saying?
So at 20, Moses was born and was beautiful. He was brought up for 3 months in his father's house. And when he was exposed, Pharaoh's daughter adopted him and brought him up as
Oh
her
yeah,
own
mine
son.
says abandoned.
Mine doesn't have nice.
It just seems to be softening the history. I don't.
Mine says he was put outside and immediately rescued.
Time.
Why would you do it outside?
The New Life translation says when they had to abandon him.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
It just a little like softening history, but I don't know, maybe it was intentional, maybe.
I think it's the opposite. I don't think it's softening history. I think it, well, this is me reading, not any scholarship or anything, but it's pretty harsh. Yeah. Seriously, abandoned him seems worse than we hit him in a basket to try to give him a chance at life.
So wasn't it because Pharaoh said you must kill all the.
Yeah, right. You must kill all the male
You
babies.
must kill all the male babies, and not.
Not just the first one, all male babies.
The parents.
But it was also the midwives, the Egyptian midwives were told to kill, and so the Hebrew women figured out how to deliver their own babies with the Hebrew midwives and didn't wait for the Egyptian
It
midwives.
kind of seems like it's a missed opportunity, because if we're talking about typology and foreshadowing, here's another sin where you're supposed to kill something.
Well, and mine in 19 says, he dealt craftily with our race and forced our ancestors to abandon their infants so that they would not die.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe.
Maybe he just knew the story.
It's a little different. It says, forced our fathers to expose their infants so they would not be kept alive.
Oh.
So,
Throw out.
maybe out.
Throw them out.
Let die.
With denial waters.
Well,
You have a baby with bathwater.
I'll have to go look at the grid, you can see what the.
Well, but if you go back.
Well, and there was a decree that all male babies. Yes.
Do we not know that there were other babies?
Yeah.
See, we grew up knowing that they knew what time the Pharaoh's daughter went to the water.
Yeah.
And they put the baby in the bulrushes just.
Sorry. But it has another parallel, because after the Magi visited Jesus at the house.
Yes.
They had to flee to Egypt.
Yes.
And then Herod came in and killed all the babies.
Another typology.
Another typology.
Isn't just theme after theme?
So I'll comment on that one. So typology you have to have knowledge of the story from before, right? You can't be writing typology as the author
Right.
without knowing the story before. Luke did not know that story
Right.
of that's from
Matthew, yeah.
and they were written roughly the same time. We think maybe Matthew's before, but it does not appear that Luke had access to Matthew as a source.
Right.
So he would not have known that.
So they just kind of concurrently came to the same.
No, it's just a connection I just put together today.
Okay.
The birth narrative stories are like completely separate.
That one together.
There's like no crossover at all.
Yeah.
Would that be something that he would have known just from the history of his country? That there was a point at which very free.
Unless the birth narrative was made up later and added.
Yeah. Maybe there's a
Which is a
Mark
thing that-
doesn't mention it.
There's no birth narratives in Mark. Luke has a different one, Matthew has a different one, and it appears in a different writing style than the rest of Luke. So I'm not saying that it was added later. I'm just saying the wrong one.
We need to know some profound truths, not facts.
Cool, I'll see y'all later.
Gonna ruin our next
That's all.
When I was in Egypt and subsequently looking up the archaeology, there's actually proof that Ramses II was drowned in the parting of the Red Sea. They've got archaeological proof.
At the Red Sea.
You know, yeah. When
The party.
when the Red
the
Sea
water-
parted, and then.
What is that?
The chariot.
Yes.
From Egypt.
He was
the
in there.
big honcho.
Yeah.
That was killed.
I would like to see that because that's a mistranslation. It's not the Red Sea, it's the Reed Sea. So anything they find at the Red Sea probably had nothing to do with
Yeah.
this. So I would like to see that. I will say, just as another side note, archaeologists love to say, look at this thing that shows this biblical thing over here as a summary, and then they write their own papers on it. Because there's not a whole lot of funding for biblical archaeology outside of people who have a vested interest in the Bible. So they will actually say, hey, I'll go to this place, I'll look for this biblical thing for you. And they're actually looking at other stuff. So then they write their own paper academically, but they also write a little fluff piece for the people who funded them. Hi, people who are funding, I just made all this up, don't listen. That's a thing that happens. So it is possible that they wrote something about like, yeah, we could see maybe this happened at this place. When it's not actually. I don't know what the proof is, so I can't say that's true. That's a thing that happens. So.
This had to do with the museum's research on artifacts that were excavated.
Interesting.
And
Where they were.
information derived from those artifacts.
Interesting. We do know that there are chariots at the bottom of the Red Sea.
Yes.
Do you want to know why there's so many of them?
Why?
Because whenever you're done with a chariot, you're not just going to throw it out into your streets, right? You're going to throw it away somewhere, and one of the convenient places they could throw it was into the sea. So they just chunked a bunch of stuff in the Red Sea.
It goes in the Seine in Paris. They do the same thing. It's thrown away.
Yeah.
Typology. Good job, French people.
But to me, none of this lessens the impact of the scriptures. It actually is a way to engage with them. You know, the historicity, lack thereof of certain stories doesn't impact the historical, metaphorical, and profound truths in them.
Right.
To me, it's really just it challenges your faith. It's like if this weren't factual as written exactly, would you still have faith in what the story means? Because that's the more important thing.
Right. And we talked about that in the first week too, whether or not like capital T, lowercase t, which one's more important.
Marcelo, I sent you an email this week
I know.
from the Presbyterian Outlook. Have you thought about it at all?
I did. I wrote you a whole response and I decided not to send it.
Oh, no.
Because I wanted to think about it more before I just sent something, because I wrote it like in the first 15 minutes. And in like
Lectionary for next Sunday.
maybe we can talk about next Sunday. Because next Sunday's readings are kind of boring, not gonna lie. So I have not forgotten. I know it exists. We can talk about it next week if you would like to open it up to everybody. Or if you want me to just respond to you, I can respond to you.
But I sent it out to your email.
It's up to you. I can do that. I know I saw the actual like link. I looked it up. So if you want me to send it to everybody, I can do that.
I think it's better if everybody reads it for themselves and then just somebody trying to reiterate what they thought it said.
Yeah. That's fair.
Okay.
Okay, so I will do that. I will email y'all with the Presbyterian Outlook. Is it an article or just I don't know what to call it.
I have been looking.
One post. It was from Presbyterian Outlook. It happened to be about Acts, so I will send that out to everybody because Reed was good enough to send it. I would have not seen it otherwise.
Question.
No,
I know you have mine because.
Oh, have you ever seen The Matrix?
Our
You're all signed up on Realm, so Josh has them and he sent them to me.
But how do you know? Where's
Sign
sign up?
Because
you're
of
doing
this
it.
new thing called the introductions that we did at the very beginning.
Michael, what's your last name?
Oh, Payton.
So
She does. Okay.
if you did not receive emails from me in Blast and Mouse this morning, and you want to receive emails from me, I won't spam you. I'll just send you information from this class. If you don't have, if I don't have an email, you can give it to me and I'll make sure you're included.
You took the emails off of the sign-in sheet, or where did you take them?
Josh has them.
Joshua Robinson.
He would not give them to us.
Joshua has the wrong email for me.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
Oh,
You gave him a fake email. Yes. Go Queen.
Sarah, you need to fix it in Realm. That would tell me that it's wrong in Realm.
I've done it twice, so just no
Okay.
reply.
Okay.
I will have you write down your email on this piece of paper so that I make sure I have your correct email.
If you have not gotten the email, just add your email.
Okay, that helps.
All right, we've already bumped up against our time. Does everyone feel well and sufficiently let down?
I love it. I'm so excited about it.
All right. Unlike Colton, Acts is actually one of my least favorite books of the Bible. Love Colton. All right. I had a nifty closing prayer, but you don't have it, so I'll just read it and we will pray around it. God of compassion, you watch our ways and weave out of terrible happenings wonders of goodness and grace. Surround those who have been shaken by tragedy with a sense of your present love and hold them in faith. Though they are lost in grief, may they find you and be comforted. Through Jesus Christ, who was dead but lives and rules this world with you. Amen. Cool. More questions? You find any interesting things that you want me to look at or comments without any authority on? I would love to do that.
I want.